My fiancée told me I had no right to interfere. She hurt me deeply, so I let silence and distance do the rest. Months later, after her ex betrayed her again, I didn't shout or beg. I let her live with the pain she had once put on me. From the very beginning, I thought she was my forever. Her name was Emily, and she walked into my life like sunshine breaking through a cloudy sky. I still remember the first time I saw her. That quiet smile, the way her hair fell over her shoulder, the soft laughter that felt like music to my ears. I didn't know then that the same smile would one day be the weapon that shattered my heart into pieces I'd never fully pick up again. When we met, life felt simple. I wasn't looking for perfection. I just wanted someone who would see me, truly see me. And for a while I thought she did. In the early days, Emily was gentle and warm. She used to text me just to say she missed me, or call late at night just to hear my voice before she fell asleep. We'd spend hours talking about everything. Our dreams, our fears, the future we hoped to build together. I remember thinking how lucky I was to have found someone who seemed to understand me without words. I was the kind of man who believed in effort, in building something real brick by brick, and she used to say she loved that about me. We built a world together, or at least I thought we did, until I started noticing the cracks beneath the surface of her promises. First, it was small things. She became distant, distracted, always on her phone or claiming she was just busy. The calls became shorter, the conversations colder. There were times I'd look at her and feel like I was staring at a stranger wearing the face of the woman I loved. I tried to ask her what was wrong, but she always brushed it off with that same rehearsed smile, the one that hid more than it revealed. "You worry too much," she'd say, her voice sweet but sharp enough to cut. Then came that evening, the one that changed everything. We were sitting in my apartment, the air thick with unspoken words. I had noticed for weeks that she was spending time with someone she once called just a friend. I knew something wasn't right, so I asked her, calmly, "Emily, what's really going on between you two?" She looked at me, her eyes cold and detached, and said the words that would burn themselves into my memory forever. "You have no right to interfere in my life. You're only my fiancé, not my keeper." The room fell silent. For a moment, I thought I misheard her. My heart thudded so hard in my chest that it drowned out everything else. I just sat there, staring at her, trying to process the fact that the woman who once held my hand and called me her home was now looking at me like I was nothing but a burden she wanted to shake off. There was no anger in her voice, just a chilling calmness, like she had been waiting to say those words all along. Something inside me broke that night. Not loudly, not dramatically. It was a quiet kind of breaking, the kind that happens deep inside, where no one can see. I didn't shout, didn't argue, didn't beg her to stay. I simply nodded, stood up, and walked away. That's when I realized, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. In the days that followed, I pulled back completely. No calls, no texts, no messages. I let silence do what words never could. First, she didn't seem to care. She continued living her life, posting pictures with that friend, smiling like she had won some battle I never even fought. But what she didn't know was that I had already made my choice. I wasn't going to chase someone who treated my love like an obligation. I was done trying to prove my worth to someone who had already decided I wasn't enough. Weeks passed. I threw myself into my work, into the gym, into anything that kept my mind off her. But no matter how hard I tried, her words echoed in my head every night. "You have no right to interfere." It's strange how a sentence can haunt you more than any memory. There were nights I'd lie awake, wondering if I had done something wrong, if maybe I had pushed too hard or loved too deeply. But deep down, I knew the truth. Some people don't want love, they want attention. And when the attention fades, they go searching for someone else to fill the silence. Then, out of nowhere, I heard the news. A mutual friend mentioned that Emily's friend, the one she defended so strongly, had ended things with her. Apparently, he used her, played with her feelings, then left her for someone else. The same story she once told me about her ex, the same pain she once cried to me about, was now hers to relive all over again. Life had come full circle, but this time, I wasn't there to hold her through it. A month later, she reached out. Her message was simple: "Can we talk?" I stared at my phone for a long time, my heart beating in that familiar, conflicted rhythm. I could almost hear her voice in my head, that soft tone she used when she wanted to pull me back in. But I didn't reply. Not that day. Not the next. I let silence speak for me, the same way she once did. I wanted her to feel that ache. The one you feel when you realize you've lost something that will never come back. When we finally ran into each other by chance, she looked different. The confidence she once carried like a shield was gone. Her eyes were red, her smile forced, her hands trembled as she spoke my name. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "He wasn't who I thought he was." I just nodded. There was nothing left to say. The pain she had once given me had found its way back to her, and I didn't need to lift a finger. Karma had done what I couldn't. And as I walked away from her that day, I realized something I wish I'd known sooner. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't anger or words. It's peace. It's living a life so quietly free that the people who hurt you have no choice but to hear the echo of their own regret. The next time I saw her wasn't planned. It was one of those unexpected moments life throws at you when you least expect it, as if fate wants to remind you that unfinished stories have a way of crossing paths again. I was standing outside a small cafe, the kind we used to visit on lazy Sunday afternoons, when I heard her voice behind me. Soft, hesitant, almost fragile. "Daniel?" She whispered my name like it was a prayer she was afraid would go unanswered. I turned slowly, and there she was, the woman who once owned my heart, standing before me, wrapped in a coat that looked 2 sizes too big for her, like she had been shrinking under the weight of her own choices. Her eyes weren't bright anymore. They carried storms now, the kind that come after a long, reckless summer. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The silence between us was loud enough to drown out the sounds of the street. She took a step forward, her lips trembling like someone who wanted to apologize but didn't know where to start. I could see the guilt in her eyes, heavy and unforgiving. This wasn't the same Emily who once told me I had no right to interfere in her life. This was a broken version of her, the kind that comes after someone realizes they were never the main character in the story they tried to rewrite. Finally, she spoke. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice barely holding itself together. "I was stupid. I thought I was doing what was best for me, but I lost you in the process. He used me. He made me feel like I was special, and then he just walked away like I meant nothing. I should have seen it coming. I should have known." Her words cracked midway, and she bit her lip like she was fighting to hold back the flood of emotions she'd spent months drowning in. And in that moment, a part of me wanted to reach out and wipe away the tears gathering in her eyes. A part of me wanted to hold her the way I used to remind her that once upon a time, I loved her so deeply that I would have moved mountains just to see her smile. But another part of me, the stronger part, remembered how it felt the night she told me I had no right to interfere. I remembered the coldness in her eyes, the finality in her voice, the way she walked away without looking back. That memory wrapped around my heart like armor. She reached for my hand, her fingers cold and shaky, like she was holding on to the last piece of something she knew she could never get back. "Please, Daniel," she whispered. "I miss you. I miss us. I know I hurt you. I know I said things I can't take back. But I need you to know that I never stopped loving you. I just lost myself for a while." Her words hung in the air like smoke, soft and dangerous. I took a deep breath and let the silence stretch. There was a time when those words would have been enough to break down every wall I built. There was a time when I would have forgiven her without a second thought. But not anymore. Pain has a way of teaching you how to stand your ground. "Emily," I said slowly, my voice steady even though my heart was racing. "Do you remember that night when I asked you a simple question, and you looked me in the eyes and told me I had no right to interfere? Do you remember how easy it was for you to throw everything away?" She looked down, her shoulders trembling, but I continued. "That night changed everything for me. It broke something I can't fix. I loved you more than you'll ever understand. But you made a choice, and so did I." Tears slipped down her cheeks. I know I hurt you, she said between broken breaths. And I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I thought I was stronger than I was. I thought I could control everything. But when he left, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath my feet. I realized how much I lost when I lost you. She took a step closer, her voice cracking with desperation. Please, Daniel, don't walk away from me again. Give me another chance to make it right. And that was when it hit me. She wasn't just apologizing because she missed me. She was apologizing because she missed the way I loved her, the way I made her feel safe, the way I showed up when no one else did. She was apologizing because she wanted the comfort back, not because she truly understood the damage she had caused. I took a step back and gently pulled my hand away from hers. Her eyes went wide, as if she could feel the final door closing. I did love you, I said quietly, and I don't hate you. But I also don't owe you the version of me you destroyed. I spent nights wondering what I did wrong. I blamed myself for your choices. But now I see it wasn't me. It was you. And I can't go back to someone who made me feel like I wasn't enough. Her knees buckled slightly, like my words had knocked the last bit of air out of her lungs. She covered her mouth with her hand as a quiet sob escaped her. I stood there, not cold, not cruel, just calm. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't hatred. It was peace. The kind of peace that comes when you finally realize you don't need to beg for the love you deserved from the start. I'll always wish you the best, I said gently. But I can't be your safe place anymore. That version of me doesn't exist now. I found someone stronger inside me. Someone who doesn't need to be needed just to feel worthy. Her tears fell harder, but I turned around slowly and walked away. Not because I wanted to hurt her, but because this time, I was choosing myself. As I walked down that street, I could still hear her crying behind me, her voice cracking as she whispered my name over and over. And strangely, there was no bitterness left in my heart, just a quiet sense of closure. She once told me I had no right to interfere in her life, so I didn't. I let silence and distance speak for me, and in the end, that spoke louder than any words ever could. Months passed after that day, and my life slowly found its balance again. I laughed more. I slept better. I started to recognize myself in the mirror again. Pain has a way of transforming you. It can break you, or it can build you into someone strong enough to never settle for less than you deserve. She became a lesson, not a regret. Sometimes, karma doesn't arrive with a bang. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in the shape of a broken heart standing in front of you, realizing too late what they lost. And that's exactly what happened to Emily. She lost me long before I walked away. She just didn't realize it until she needed me to stay. If you've ever been hurt by someone who took your love for granted, remember, silence can be louder than any shout. Let karma speak when words fail. Like and subscribe for more stories like this.